Sends shivers down your spine. Shrinking's gonna shock your soul and seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
Just like the Wendigo, this is one of my favorite creatures to talk about, and a lot of people might know this one too. May I present to you Sonic.EXE. I have done research on Sonic.EXE even before I was a big fan of Sonic, so this is something really good. I did so much research when I was young. I was almost afraid of him, but of course he's just a fan-made thing now. Kind of like, yeah, so basically he died out, but then in 2020 and he started coming back. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But Sonic.EXE appeared in a lot of things, including FNF recently as a mod, and it had a bunch of fan-made games. There was an original game, we'll talk about that later. He is not as scary anymore though, unless you're younger and you're still scared of him. But he's basically looked as a cool creepypasta. But yeah, and people used to be scared of him back then, even at the adults. You know, it was crazy.
Hello. Do you want to play with me? You're too slow. Want to try again?
Sonic.EXE is an entity taken on the form of Sonic that sends out a haunted game disc of the original game, Sonic the Hedgehog. But he kills the characters, eventually leading them to rip out the soul of the victim, making them his slave. Yes, for those of you who actually watch these whole episodes, you probably know by now, they get pretty violent sometimes. So that brings us other characters, like Tails.EXE, Kareem.EXE, Amy.EXE, you know what I mean. By the way, we won't be talking about Tails.EXE for separate videos.
Group shout from Pastries trademark.
Oh my god, and all the others, because they just all connect to what we're talking about today. So yeah. There was also Lord.EXE or something like that, but you can do research on that yourself. I'm talking about the original Sonic.EXE, not the new Lord.EXE Sonic thingamajiggy. I don't even know what it is. I'm not interested in it. But the original story of Sonic.EXE centers on Tom, who is a young man who was a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, especially the older games. Yup, prepare for story time and come in a bit early because this basically explains everything. Tom claimed that he had not played any glitchy or hacked games before, though he admitted that he didn't want to after an experience he had. He then proceeded to recount his experience, saying how he received a CD and an accompanying letter from his friend Kyle, begging him to destroy the disc before it's too late, in quotes, and not to play the game. Ignoring his friend's warnings, Tom played the game and began to encounter odd, somewhat disturbing phenomena. From a title card featuring an evil-looking Sonic with bloody eyes and glowing pupils with a wide smile to the presence of a file select screen similar to that of the one in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, with a red background and chilling music playing. As he picked the only available character, Tails, and began the first stage titled Hill Act 1, Tom continued to find more evidence that there was something wrong with the game. Namely the copious amounts of dead animals, all murdered in gruesome ways, and eventually encountering Sonic at the end of the level, standing completely still with his eyes closed. When When Tails attempted to get his attention during a cutscene by tapping him on the shoulder, Sonic's eyes opened, identical to the Sonic on the title screen before cutting to black, with the message, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" In the next level, Hide and Seek, Tom witnessed Sonic chasing Tails, the latter flying despite an inability to do so without a super form, before disappearing, teleporting in front of the distraught Fox, and killing him, and cut into black. Shocked, Tom reads the next message. "You're too slow. Want to try again?" After playing as Knuckles and losing a supposed boss battle with Sonic, Tom decided to take a break from the game. However, his rest was plagued by nightmares featuring the corrupted Tails and Knuckles, and the demonic Sonic, with him waking in a cold sweat. Returning to the game, Tom picked Robotnik from the Files Select screen and continued with the game. At the end of the level, Sonic teleported in front of Robotnik, before the screen cut to red static. Then a hyper-realistic image of Sonic appeared on the screen with the words, "I am God." After the game ended, Tom turned around to find, to his utter horror, a bloodied Sonic plushie on his bed. Tom's fate is ambiguous, though the official sequel reveals that Tom committed suicide to escape from the entity using Sonic's likeness. Okay, so this whole story was taken from the Creepypasta Wiki for Sonic.EXE, so you can search that up if you want to know where I got it from. So that's the real story. There's like a bunch of stories, but this is like the original story that I just told you. Second story also comes from the same site. This one is a shorter story, and it's either a sequel or a prequel. There's really no known, like it could be both, honestly, a sequel and a prequel, who knows. But this story centers around a young detective named Derek Green investigating the murders committed by an unknown entity. Excuse me. Throughout the entire murder case, each murder has been investigated by Detective Derek Green and his sister Chelsea. After Chelsea got captured by EXE, Derek was dropped out of the case for unknown reasons, but that didn't stop him from pursuing his sister's captor. As he secretly investigated each murder that EXE commits, Derek slowly becomes more and more paranoid to the point where he believes everyone is working for the cult. Through a mysterious contract named Cole, Derek discovered that the cult was behind the conspiracy and that Chelsea was trapped in EXE's world. Eventually, Derek got captured by the cult and confronted by one of the cult leaders, Shannon Goldman. Derek believes that by destroying the disc, which he did, that would once and for all stop EXE from tormenting humanity. But Shannon proved his efforts pointless and revealed that the cult had made multiple copies of the game disc in case anything happened to one of them. Shannon then summoned EXE, who then proceeded to steal Derek's soul. 3 weeks later, after EXE stole Derek's soul, Derek's boss, Bob Richardson, received a message from Cole, who filled him in on what happened. Wow, a lot going on there. If you listen, yep. I bet we all know what Sonic.EXE looks like, so we can skip that whole section. Come on, guys, Sonic.EXE, you know what he looks like. And even if you don't, you'll know what he looks like. You'll either search it up or you'll continue watching my video, and you'll know what he looks like. So, his personality is the absolute opposite of Sonic the Hedgehog for obvious reasons. He is a wrathful, tyrannical, malevolent, sadistic, cruel, and twisted monster who takes glee in repeatedly killing anyone's life, even his own slaves. His powers consist of flying and levitating off the ground, teleport from place to place in a cloud of black smoke, travel through the game and manipulate its code, create dark, ghostly illusions in order to confuse and torment his enemies, and shapeshift in order to look exactly like his idol Sonic. EXE is able to twist and alter reality in any way he likes, is completely omnipotent and immortal, meaning he is like a ghost but he is technically not dead, and he cannot be killed by normal means, but cannot last too long in the real world, so he has to stay in the game. He is also able to create and manipulate dark matter, the very substance he's made of, and wields a large black hole inside his mouth that he uses when he gets bored sort of a slave, which would completely evaporate their soul and erase them from existence. I know, lovely. Here are some fun facts. Sonic.EXE was created by JC the Hyena. Sonic.EXE is incredibly strong and is immortal, which you guys know, but I just had to mention that again. He has a game made by MY5T Crimson. He was created on June 23rd, 1991. His confirmed birthday is November 7th, but it is strongly overpowered by his creation date. He has commonly been thought to be a demon possessing Sonic's body, his first and most well-known fan-made origin, despite the two canonically being separate entities. And that's it. That's Sonic.EXE for ya. So as I said earlier, they're having a Sonic Lord.EXE now that I don't really care about, lol. You can research that as I said. Next week, I have an SCP that I'll be doing research on for the first time, so stay tuned.